Hello, my name is Meredith Hoxie Scholl, and I serve our connection as the Missional Collaboration and Communication Director for the Connectional Table. I recently had a chance to sit down with some seminary students from some of our United Methodist seminaries to ask them the question, what does it mean to you personally to be a part of a worldwide church? And then to have them reflect on some of the blessings and challenges of being a worldwide church. I hope that this enhances our CT Talks conversation and that you will continue to use these reflections as a part of the resource that we're offering to help you prepare for General Conference in May.
To me personally, for the United Methodist Church, to be a worldwide connection means familiarity and means a sense of comfort in my worship experience. So no matter where I go in the country or in the world, I know what I'm expecting, and though cultural differences will cause things to be different in whatever context I might be in, I still know that I'm in a United Methodist Church, and I can feel that when I'm worshiping with other people from around the world. One of the challenges I think in this new effort to become more of a worldwide church is the idea that we need to change our mindset from serving places from the United States, serving places around the world, to really narrowing in on how they give to us too. And so shifting from just being missional to other places to having a partnership and to really being able to give to one another in that mutual way.
The worldwide connection is so important to me because I think it allows us to tackle social issues around the globe on a global scale. So, because of the United Methodist Church, the mortality rate for malaria among children around the world has been reduced in half. That's not something that we could do as a church in the United States alone or as a church outside of the United States. That's something that we can do together. I think one of the continued challenges of being a worldwide church is how do we be a church together? How do we have conversations together? How do we plan together? I'm part of a young adult network related to the Council of Bishops, and we have folks who are on a conference call from around the world at the same time. It's a little difficult to, ask someone to be up in the middle of the night and morning and different times of day. We have someone in an internet cafe in Africa, and we have someone who's dependent on an internet connection that's not always there in Ukraine. It's hard to have a real conversation, but I think the intentionality around being a church together and having conversations together is really important, and we can do that. It just takes a little bit of effort.
For me, it means living out the biblical call we have as Christians to be united in spite of differences and because of our differences. So across languages and across borders, the way the early church had their own disagreements between the Judeans and the Greeks, and they had to figure out how to deal with that. And I think that is part of the strength of the church, that we look different and talk different and have different experiences. And I think those differences are also challenging because it requires us to live in a way that takes into account the difference of other people's experience. It makes us have to be flexible. It makes us have to stretch and change and think differently, be willing to think differently, be willing to let others think differently. I know that as a seminarian, my own education has been benefited by being in classes with Methodists from all over the world, from different countries, different places.
So I think what it means to me personally to be a worldwide church is that we have an even bigger opportunity to be the body of Christ in the world, that we have a wider reach, and just by the very nature of the connection have more resources and more diversity of opinion and thought and viewpoints and just a really amazing set of resources to do God's work in the world. I know it can be challenging because of that diversity of thought and opinion and culture and background and context, but especially being a student here at Drew, one of the most diverse places I've ever been privileged to be. I'm starting to realize that the diversity that we struggle with so mightily is really a blessing, or can be a huge asset, actually. And I think I love the idea of connection, of the global church at work, but it's hard to grapple with the implications of just the humanity of each other. But I do think it's a beautiful thing about the UMC, the connection.